Hi Capricorn, welcome to your January 2019 Tarot and Astrology reading. Happy birthday to all the January Capricorns that we have here, and a very happy new year to you all. There is a reason why it is so appropriate to set New Year's resolutions and goals on the 31st of December, because Capricorns are tenacious, they are goal driven, they set goals and they don't give up, which is exactly what this card encompasses. See this guy, he's tired, he's possibly bruised on the head from trying so hard to keep up these wands, but he's trying. You can almost tell with his t-shirt he has muscle definition. And a lot of the Capricorn mantras are to do with, to build muscle, you first have to tear muscle so that it can repair itself. So you guys know that pain is not necessarily something that is a problem. You know that it can actually suggest growth. And what a growth we have. The solar Capricorn eclipse on the 5th of January, while Mercury also slips into your sign on the same day. We have a very, very strong Capricorn sky. And this makes you 10 times more powerful, but it can make you at the same time feel 10 times more in pain. It depends, really. But as I say, anything that is bothering you, anything that is triggering you around this time is actually the key to your growth. It's the key to make you thrive as a person. It's what's meant to be driving you. Notice around the 5th of January, what is it that is irking you so much, Capricorn? What is it that lies below the surface that you want to learn from and you want to create into a masterpiece? It's all about new beginnings, but having a drive. Like, what is it that's driving you at this time? What is it that is bothering you so much? Because that's the key. Venus is in Sagittarius joining Jupiter, and it's an interesting year, I must say, to have Jupiter in your 12th house, because this can oftentimes bring luck in unexpected places. It's almost as if when you're feeling the most down on your luck is when something happens. It's like when you're feeling depressed about losing a relationship and then you're out in a bar commiserating and then suddenly the love of your life walks in, or you lose a job and within days your friend tells you they're looking for positions at this amazing company. That to me is what Jupiter in the 12th is. Just the second you feel down in your luck, something happens. So bear in mind with the solar eclipse energy, you're somewhat unstoppable, but you're also as steady as you are, Capricorn. You may to others be appearing as someone who's actually quite shaky because you're lost in thought. You're contemplating your next move. You're contemplating progress. You have goals. You're setting goals. You're figuring out where you want to be this time next year. January has this unnecessary reputation for being gloomy post-Christmas. But January is full of discipline. It's full of seeds, what you're planting at this point. And there's all this animosity towards New Year's resolutions and goals. And in astrology, we deal very much with the new moon. Okay, we deal very much with the new moon as being your starting point. So the new moon in your sign, Capricorn, is going to be when you are figuring out your goals. You know? I think the new moon may actually be on the 5th. I'm not quite sure. I think it is. I'll double check it and put it down below, but the new moon in your sign is when you really start to consider your goals. Now, what is crossing you, Capricorn, is indeed that unsteady, impulsive nature. So with the Knight of Swords crossing you, it means that you could be dealing with friction with the air signs in your life. So the Libras, the Geminis, the Aquarius people could be the folk that are really irritating you. It's almost as if you're trying to consider an answer to something, or you're trying to consider a point, and you're trying to do it in your earthy way where you think it out slowly, methodically, and you come to a conclusion. But somebody else wants answers yesterday. Somebody else wants answers at the snap of a finger. And you're not willing to give that because you can't give the answer if you're not sure. Judgment in the past means that you have had a lot of clarity in the past regarding decisions, but they oftentimes come at this epiphany moment. In your recent past, you do have the Ten of Cups, so I can see that there has been periods, particularly within December, November, that you look back on fondly. Or there are even, as you're watching this, you may be watching this at the end of January, there are periods within January where you're feeling very happy and fulfilled. And this is what I'm saying. With Judgment and the Ten of Cups, your greatest moments have come from endings. Over Saturn being in your sign, Saturn being your ruler who likes to teach hard lessons, and then Jupiter being in the 12th, as I say, I feel Capricorn as if the moments where you feel the most down are going to be the moments that are breakthroughs for you, okay? So let's see what else we have here. Crowning the reading, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So career driven. Hoping to be that 1 in a million person. Wanting the odds to be in your favour, so you're working extra hard. You want to be noticed. You want to be put forward for something by this guy here. The Ace of Cups is incoming, so there could very well be an emotional offer on the table for you, Capricorn. I'm going to put in the rest of these cards. Nine of Cups. Page of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. Okay. A lot of you Capricorns are indeed dealing with an air sign. So as I said, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius comes through quite strongly. I also must say, Capricorn, I have very strong Scorpio energy here with Judgment. And the water signs. Other earth signs as well seem to be coming through, but what's underneath? Yes, Knight of Cups. So some of you are dealing with a water sign as well. Interesting. We could be... yeah. Air energy and water energy are coming through very strong. So Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, and then in the airs we have Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. Now, thank God for clarifiers. I actually go over this 3 times, this spread, so bear with me. But I see a couple of things. I see an offer for something, and I think it's something that you actually want. And I feel as though, at the moment as it sits, I'm sensing as if the odds may be low, yet somewhat... I just feel like there seems to be something here about the odds being low, but you're really hoping that they're in your favour for some reason. It's almost as if you're really hoping for this breakthrough or this offer, but it's like a 1 in a million thing, because we have the 10 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. So I just see a really significant offer that is in your hopes section. So you're hoping for something really, really, really strong. And it's almost as if to speed up a process is where we're looking for this. So you may be dealing with someone romantically. Either you're sort of dragging your heels or they are, or there is some sort of reason that the decision has been quite hard to make. Now, for many of you Capricorns, one thing that I can see very strongly is some of you have recently, and recent is a hard one to pick up, but I feel for a lot of you in particular, in the last... Some of you as recent as the last 10 weeks, and some of you as much as the last 2 years. Because I'm sort of getting within the last 2 years, a lot of you have met somebody who could be your happily ever after, okay? Others of you that are completely single, don't worry about that, because the Ace of Cups oftentimes represents a brand new cycle after an old one, okay? So don't panic about that. I feel like there are a lot of people in this, and the Knight of Cups typically represents a love energy. I think a lot of you, same with the 10 of Cups, have recently met somebody new. And I think for those of you that are in established relationships, there's something that needs to be pondered over. It's almost as if it may be a significant decision, and I'm just drawn to thinking that one person wants it to go quicker. One person potentially wants a move, or they want you to jump through hoops for them, or you want them to jump through hoops for them, maybe Capricorn. I think one person at least is wanting something a lot more solid, and they're wanting you to give a lot more to the relationship, okay? But there is a problem at the moment with balancing the energies, but I sort of think it's more in the sense of speed. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not going at the same speed, and it's not because one person cares more or cares less or whatever. It's more to do with wanting to have the trajectory set out. Right, so I think if you're dealing with an air sign, there's sort of a flighty, impulsive energy where they react quickly when they're feeling insecure or moody. Yeah, you're really trying to think it out. You want time to think about something, and they're not giving it to you. In fact, some of them are kind of being a bit, if you don't do this, I'll probably have to leave or something. And some of you are actually considering walking away. The Magician. The Magician and Judgement. Oh, that is a pair. Ooh, Capricorn. Some of you really have met, for want of a better word, some of you guys are very, very, very lucky. Or have been recently very, very, very lucky. I think a lot of people have met the one. So lucky you. But this can also represent finding out that you're pregnant, childhood, good times with the family, etc. over Christmas. But some of you have been going through a real period of emotional contentment in some ways, okay? So, Ace of Wands, I feel like you have a lot of admiration for somebody. Ace of Cups, but you're... Yeah, this is a lot more stable than... I'm just going to keep going and shut up for a second until I've got these down. Because I'm suspicious of what's going to come up now. Because I'm very nosy. The Three of Pentacles. Right. Okay, right, if you're dealing with an air sign, they're so bossy. Because they've come out in so many forms. We have the Knight, we have the Queen, and we have the King. Okay. It's funny, some of you, and this is just for some of you are attached to an air sign, but I don't know if you're maybe not happy, but you're kind of looking at a water sign in some ways. But that doesn't apply to everybody. It's just in your hopes position, there's the Knight of Cups, and that can simply signify that you're hoping for more romance in your life. Or I think a lot of you are hoping for an engagement or a proposal. I am getting the impression that may be the case. So, some of you may quite simply be hoping for a message from somebody who's already left. That can be something too, especially with the 2 and the 3 of Wands here. You're waiting for something. In the 3, he's waiting for his ships to come in, and then it's crossed by the 8. So I feel like somebody may, potentially Capricorn, have left quite suddenly or without any contact since. Very, very cold. So that might not even be an air sign. Sometimes the swords can represent people that come in and out of your life quick, or opportunities that are put on the table and then suddenly disappear. But you, in terms of work, are really trying to put your nose in to the ground to stand out. You really want to be recognized for something. I sort of see this as you putting in extra hours. Do you know what I mean? Like putting in a lot of extra effort because you want to be that 1 in a million person. Which, as I say, I can't be certain how that applies per se because everyone's different. But it may also be romantically. You may want to be that 1 in a million person that gets this amazing, amazing person. I mean, I think if you are dealing with a Leo or you're dealing with a Scorpio, potentially, there could be a Gemini here too. It's almost as if you feel like they're very magical and you don't know how to impress them. You seem a bit spellbound by somebody for a lot of you. Now, you may also, for some of you that are single and not fully committed to anybody, you may also have to choose between one person. Between 2 people. Whoa, choose between one. That's how limited my thinking is. You have to choose, maybe you have to choose between 2 people. You maybe like 2 people, Capricorn. There's sort of a sense of this is interesting. The King of Swords, I'm going to be honest. The King of Swords kind of bothers me. Because he has always seemed to me to be this person who is very hard to read. And that can be in person, as a metaphor, he's hard to read. But I find him hard to read. Because, when you get a King of Pentacles and you say, oh, he's very traditional and he likes nature and he's very concerned with his money and his finances. Then you get a King of Wands and you're like, he's this adventurous streak, he's very warm and gregarious and all this, whatever. King of Cups, so he's the one that's more in touch with his feelings. And then you get the King of Swords, and yes, he's analytical, he's very logical, he doesn't show his emotions very well at times. In fact, he doesn't show them a lot of the time. So he's harder to understand. And he can sometimes, Capricorn, be you. Okay? You could very well be emerging from this solar eclipse in your sign as a King of Swords. Other people might not completely understand where you're going and what you're doing and what your plan is. And that may be why people are getting a bit pushy. Now, the Three of Pentacles to me is sort of telling me that you want to start building things, especially when I see the 8 here. You want to start working on things. You want to start working towards something. As I say, very goal-oriented. But why... when I see this as a recent past, I feel as if there has been somebody special, and I feel like you're a bit, some of you are a bit overwhelmed by it. It looks to me as if you maybe fell head over heels for somebody, and you are contemplating what to do about it. For others of you, it's a relationship that's standing, and you're still contemplating what the next step is. Like, where is it going? It could be with a fire sign, or it could be someone who's very confident, very self-assured. Somebody who potentially runs a business, somebody who could be very athletic, or, any of the qualities of a Queen of Wands person. As I say, it could be a Leo for many of you. Yes, you're dealing with someone who's very successful. So, maybe you feel they're... Oh, I don't know. Do you know what? I'll put some more cards down and we'll see. Okay, so the moon's here. There's something in January that confuses you, Capricorn, and it's the truth. The truth of the matter. You're not entirely sure, and you don't like making moves and things when you're not totally sure. Unless you have a lot of fire in your chart, it's almost as if you have realized how important something or someone is and you don't know how to progress it. Or you are considering what it is that you don't know as being the issue. Now, as I said before, the things that are going to irritate you, if your feelings are irritating you, they're your driving force behind your success. If people are irritating you, channeling that again, it's almost as if you have to channel the irritation to have the success. Okay, so there is a Three of Swords. Now, this is what's crossing you, so it's already there, so do not fear. But with the moon here being crossed by the Three of Swords, I think the truth may upset you slightly. And it's to do with the dynamic. Mercury's in your sign, so you have a gift of communication, Capricorn. That, as I say, if you're dealing with an air sign, Mercury and Capricorn doesn't always sit that well for them. Unless you're dealing with an Aquarius who also has a Mercury and Capricorn. I sort of sense that you may be dealing with people who aren't as forthright with their true feelings, but they're kind of pushy, or they're being kind of angry. Do you know what I'm saying? The moon, though. The moon. I think the moon's come up because of the lunar eclipse in Leo on the 20th, 21st of January. Because he's come up for, moon. She's come up for most of the signs. And I think with the full moon being in Leo, which is your 8th house, a lot to do with secrets. The truth will set you free, but at first may piss you off. That's Gloria Steinem, I think. I think her second name is Steinem. I don't want to get that wrong. But listen, some of you may have had to walk away from a situation that was either moving too fast or too slow. That's fine. Some of you are very, very, very paralyzed by the fear of getting hurt. And you may be reading someone so wrong at the moment because they may not be coming across completely clear. Now, the Fool is in the past as well, so there was a new beginning. You've tried to be very carefree in your life, Capricorn, considering you're Saturn's child. You've tried to embrace the carefree aspect to making decisions. Oish. Some of you guys really fell very hard for somebody. And I'm not saying it's gone wrong, but the Tower can sometimes, I see it with the Sun and I see it with the Ten of Cups. Either, for some unfortunate Capricorns, you maybe lost a happily ever after quite quickly. Could have been by miscommunication. Or you could feel very much like you found the one, but it's the wrong time for some reason. That's one thing I'm getting, like right one, wrong time. Or you just feel like the circumstances are always going against you with a particular relationship or a particular journey. Now, what did I say, Capricorn, earlier about the darkest moments being the times when the greatest things happen? This looks very like that, okay? So you could be really, really, really worried about something, and something else is going really, really, really right, and you're so confused. You're like, how can I have such polarity between the themes of my life right now? And it's quite simply because there are mysterious forces at work all the time that we don't understand. That's what the moon says. But if you follow your intuition, you can seemingly avoid this feeling, which is quite good. If you can sidestep that. If you've met someone you really, really, really do like with this Ten of Cups and the Sun, don't blow it. I just looked at the trumpet on the Judgment card and said, don't blow it. Now that's what this can mean. Don't take too long to make a decision is what I want to say. If somebody wants you to be a bit faster from what I can see here. Someone is being a Knight of Swords. They want you to make a decision. Some of them possibly want you to make a decision and stick to it with the Hierophant here. But I also think some of you may be the ones wanting a commitment from somebody else. It goes both ways, 8 of Wands. Some of you are definitely traveling. There's that Queen of Swords again. I feel funny about this one because she's there with the 3 of Cups and the 9 of Cups, and there's almost sort of, the 9 of Cups always bothers me a little bit because as much as it's a lovely wish card and things, and it's coming up with your friends. I'll get back to that. I feel like that's another story. I'll get back to that. Wheel of Fortune. Whoopsies. The High Priestess, and this is the King of Cups. Oh, good golly. Capricorn. Some of you are so confused. Some of you, good lord, some of you, yeah, they're right on either side of a 3. Some of you are, some of you might like 2 people or be in love with 2 people. Ooh, that's why this is crossing you. Oh, okay. Oh, right. I thought this. I did say at the start there was an air sign and a water sign, and the air sign is pushier. Okay. You may actually not. Okay, I'm gonna. Some of you are in relationships and you're getting angry at me. I can almost sense it through the friggin' computer. Listen, if you're in a relationship with an air sign or a water sign already and there's nobody else, it means one of you is thinking with your head on a situation, the other's thinking with your heart, okay? So don't get mad. Don't get mad. And this is the problem. One of you is trying to think with your emotions, the other one's trying to think with your head, and you're not communicating correctly because you may be reading in too much to what they're doing. and why they're doing it, because the solar eclipse in your sign, albeit partial, is going to feel very intense for you emotionally. So please do not be too suspicious of someone that you've never had to worry about before, just because they're either going with their head or their heart, okay? You're really in your thoughts about this. I can tell from the ones, you're really thinking, on one hand, you're setting goals, and maybe this person, for example, wants to move somewhere together. Maybe they want to move home, and want you to move home with them. Maybe they want to do this or whatever. There is some sort of possible disagreement, which quite simply Capricorn doesn't actually need to happen, okay? Those of you that are completely single, you're going to have one hell of a time, because there's two kings in the outcome. The King of Swords and the King of Cups. You are possibly dealing with an air sign and a water sign. And I think, and you know, we actually, even down here, Gemini, Scorpio, and Aries. But it can be any sign, so don't get mad. And then we have like Aquarius, Scorpio. And then there's that air sign. So, if you're dealing with a female air sign, I kind of get the impression, how do I say this? I think a lot of you, if you're choosing between two people in your hopes position, especially if you're dealing with a Pisces, because the High Priestess is here, someone who's very, you know, the High Priestess is like, she's magical, she's like ethereal, she's the ideal, and she's there with the Knight of Cups. So if you're dealing with a Pisces or a water sign, you see them as more long-term potential. If you're dealing with an air sign, they seem to be more like friendly and fun. This is if you're single and you're choosing. I just get the impression maybe the air sign's more like fun in the now and like hilarious and interesting to go out with or whatever, like fun. Like they seem to be, it's almost, I don't know. The Three of Cups can be kind of platonic, but it can also be romantic. So don't jump too quickly to figure what that is. I just sort of feel like the water sign comes up as maybe somebody who's a bit more like long term. So it depends if that's what you want, because I also see a confusion between commitment and carefree. Okay, for want of a better phrase, for some people this can be thinking with their nether regions. That's really vulgar, but that's what the Ace of Wands always makes me think of. And then we have the Hierophant here, and it's something that's more established and true. Goodness me. Also, I want to say something. And because I keep going back to this 1 in a million thing. I feel like there's a 1 in a million person that's entered your life. So why do you have to choose? Do you know what I'm saying? Or there's a 1 in a million opportunity. Why would you not get it? You know, the odds. I know Capricorn, you're into metrics. You like the odds. But it seems very much that the hard work that you put in gets you something. It's almost like fate starts, you know, what you put into your work in particular, the Wheel of Fortune is sort of going to amplify and speed up for you. So if you're hoping for an offer, particularly if it's to do with travel or if it's to do with a degree or university or college funding, I think you should really keep your nose to the grindstone. And under this new moon in Capricorn, please really consider what that is. I think some of you want something that's very hard to come by, but I totally believe that you can do it. So please do. Now, before I lose my voice, I am going to clarify the King of Cups. I'm going to clarify the outcome cards because I never leave it on a court. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Oh, you're making an offer to somebody. Draw one more. Or you may receive an offer from them. I'm so nosy. I almost want to put the comments section back on so that you can tell me. Okay, so I'm going to be really honest. If you're choosing, I feel something, and I did from the Queen of Swords down there, feel something funny. If you're choosing between an air sign and a water sign, I think the water. Because the Page of Swords is coming up as having, you know, at least one of the people you're dealing with could have some sort of ulterior motive. I feel for the Page, it's almost as if it might be them that has an ulterior motive. I don't know what, but I feel like be sort of mindful of air signs that you're dating in the beginning. Okay? I don't want anyone that has a relationship with an air sign currently to think that's them, because I don't think that's them. Although they may have an ulterior motive in rushing you, or they may be coming from selfish gains for rushing you, or they may be being kind of selfish. It can be very, very small. It just seems that for those of you choosing, I feel this Page of Pentacles means you make an offer. And I'm kind of drawn to the water, personally. Which also to me is saying go with your heart, not your head. Okay? And please don't be scared of your feelings either, Capricorn, because you, being Saturn's children, can sometimes, unfortunately, be a little bit pessimistic about things, just from time to time. And I feel like there's something here that could bring you really great happiness, but the Tower sort of indicates that some of you may be in the position of giving up on happiness, but I feel like somebody sort of entered the equation that I do think for a lot of you it could be Pisces. And you know what's funny? Capricorn, you came up in Scorpio and Pisces as the outcome. Does that make sense? It might make sense for some of you, might not for others. Anyway, I'm going to stop blabbering on and get the guidance cards out. Sorry, I just get so nosy whenever I'm doing these, and I like to have all the options. So Green Tara, start delegating. Ask others, including Green Tara herself, to help you instead of trying to do everything by yourself. That makes sense for Capricorn, but you're probably not going to ask. Coventina, purification. It's time for a cleansing detoxification of your mind and body. And past life. This situation involves past life memories. Mother Mary, expect a miracle. As I said, 1 in a million chance, didn't I? Some of you are dealing with a past life connection too. I know the 6 of Cups didn't come out. Judgment can sometimes be that. And when I see the 10 of Cups in the Sun, I think for a lot of you it could be past life. Just FYI. It could be very healing, so bear that in mind if you're making choices. Now, that's also not to say if you are making a choice, don't choose the air sign. Just saying you can. I just feel like they might not be as compatible, because the Cups person seems to offer something, dare I say, you know, the High Priestess, something more magical. Because the High Priestess is a much more beautiful mystery than the 7 of Swords. Do you know what I mean? Ironically, you could be dealing with, say, for example, an air sign that's a moon and a water sign, or whatever, or a water sign with a moon and an air sign, so just be mindful of things like that. You'll know which one it is. The air sign, I do think, seems more, like, outwardly, you know, funny, but I don't know that it's long term. The Cup seems more like stable, which maybe isn't what you want. Anyway, I find a deeper meaning and personal growth amid the discomfort. Now that is spooky, because that is what I said to you at the beginning of the reading, growing through your pain. So I'm going to leave that there, Capricorn, as your guidance. I find a deeper meaning and personal growth amid the discomfort. I think some of you, in terms of love or in terms of business, may restrain yourself to play it safe, and you'll regret it. Okay? So, expecting a miracle, the best possibility is what you should be going for, not settling for safe or settling for what's easy. There's something better on the horizon than settling, Capricorn. So don't undercut yourself. Don't let anybody else undercut you. Expect a miracle. You're the 1 in a million chance. I have faith in you, so please try at least. And if it doesn't happen, as I say, what is going wrong is leading you to a 10 of Cups. So be mindful that things can change very, very quickly when Jupiter's in your 12th. I would know, went through it 2 years ago, completely understand it. So I love you guys, and I will see you in the next set of readings. Bye.